But that dang little Isla, she made such a big fuss over the. And the bigger fuss she'd make, the more I wanted to scare her. And Isla was such a cute little thing. She was dainty and cute like Hunter is, you know, with her hands and everything. It's just,
She's got all the attention.
oh, I could just see her. Aunt Nets just loved her too. I believe she'd have took her too if they'd let her have her. But
So what did you do for Christmases?
well, that one thing we'll have to give Aunt Net credit for. When I was that little, I don't know when I was that little when that said me, but as I got older, Aunt Net, she would have liked to have me with her kids and having Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Grant hitched that old horse up, and if it was snow, a sled, if it was not that, the buggy. And she'd take me to Preston, and I was to stay overnight and then stay for Christmas Day. Then Uncle Grant would come up on Christmas Day and get me. And I never did spend those important days with Aunt Net. She always see that I got up there because she said Dad felt so bad. After he finally gave in to let me, Aunt Net have me, why, Aunt Net said, well, she said to Dad, if you have any intentions of getting married, I guess you will too, because most men do. I could just hear Aunt Net say that. She's, if you have any intention that if you get married, if you have any intentions of taking Hilda back, you better take her right now, because I couldn't stand it. I'm getting attached to her now, and if I keep her much longer, I couldn't stand to give her up. Well, I guess Dad was so glad to have one I was taking care of that he said, oh, I wouldn't do anything like that to you. I'd never take her away from you. And Dad says, well, all right, then you keep your promise, because the more I'm keeping her, the more I'm getting attached to her, and she's just like she's mine. But Aunt Net says after he got married, he said, well, I know I made that promise, but he says, I hate the family to be broken up like that. When she grows older, she'll think she wasn't wanted. And Aunt Net says, well, I'll see to it that she don't feel that way. But I never did feel that way. I knew I was loved. Aunt Net thought the world of me. But I guess my dad did too. Mm-hmm. Grandma Nash was always good to me too. She was always kind of on the sidelines, but she always said the right thing and did the right thing. She had a lot of wisdom, good sense. I don't know, we've got a lot to be thankful for Grandma Nash.
Yeah.
Did you feel bad when you had to leave Aunt Nick and Uncle Grant on Christmas then?
I imagine, I can't remember, but I imagine I felt bad because I was, of course, my dad, what's one thing about my dad, he always had a nice home. Wherever he lived, he did in Franklin, he did in Rexburg, he did in Preston. They were for that time of their lives. What my dad's was one of the nicest houses in Franklin, in Preston, in Rexburg. They told that in his funeral how he always seen that his family had a lovely home. Well, he had a lot more to do with it. But Aunt Net's was home, and it was clean.
Yeah.
And she.
There was love.
And she always seen that I had a room upstairs all to myself. Nobody else slept even in the same room with me. I had my bed and everything all to myself.
Well, did you feel kind of left out or bad because the other family was all together and you were with Aunt Net?
Well, as I grew older and thought things over, I sometimes wondered where I did belong. I wondered who I should be loyal to, because I had so many parents, see, I had my father and mother. I had Aunt and Uncle Grant, which was just like a mother and father. And I was a very young teenager, and as I grew older, I got a little bit more sense. But when I was younger, I guess I was confused. I just wondered where I belonged. Who do I belong to? Aunt and Uncle Grant loves me, and my dad and Grandma Nash. They act like they do too. But
How did your brothers and sisters treat you?
well, Isla and Leah, I think they kind of was put out when I come up. I didn't ever go to Preston to live until my junior year of high school. But they didn't have any. They had 2 years high school in Franklin, and then you have to get out and go into a bigger place. And so I had to go to Preston, and so that I kind of balled things up because that Isla and Leah had to share that bedroom, and I sure didn't like it very well because at first they didn't let it go too long, but for a while I slept in the same bed as Isla and Leah, and that Leah wet the bed, and I wasn't used to things like that. And I couldn't stand it, so I cried to Aunt Ned and said, I don't want to go back there because Leah wets the bed. And she says, oh, she don't do that. I said, yes, she does. But anyway, right after that, there was a great big screen porch on the house in Preston. Not the new house in Preston, but the other house in the second ward. There was a great big screen porch, and so they right after that, they had the carpenter come and change that all into a bedroom. And so then I don't know, I guess it was Isla and I that slept out there, and Leah had the other one.
She quit wetting the bed then, huh?
Oh, I wasn't used to things like that. Oh, heavens.